fabled heat, where magic meets desire. Subscribe to ignite the fantasy.
The rain hammered Obsidian Vale like 1,000 angry drums, turning cobblestones into slick, treacherous rivers that reflected the flickering torchlight of the ascendant towers. I pulled my threadbare shawl tighter, the coarse wool scratching my skin, the chill seeping into my bones. The air was thick with coal smoke, the sour stench of river rot, and a metallic tang of fear that clung to every breath. My name is Elara, and in this city of iron and obedience I am a sinner, not for heresy or forbidden magic, but for daring to give charity. Yesterday I slipped a warm loaf of bread into the trembling hands of old man Hemlock on the rain-slick bridge, feeling the heat of the crust pulse against my palm like a secret heart. The ascendants marked that small kindness as treason, and today the guards seized me. Cold iron bit into my wrists as the dungeon door slammed shut. The stone walls dripped with condensation, each drop sounding like a tiny hammer against the silence. Distant chants of the ascendants echoed, a reminder that I was not alone in my punishment. Then a voice cut through the gloom. "Did you really think they'd let you die without a fight?" Kale stepped into the torchlight, his dark hair plastered to his forehead by the rain, his eyes smoldering with a fierce, protective fire. He was a former Ascendant enforcer, now a rebel who had slipped into the prison's shadows to rescue those the regime deemed expendable. His hand, warm, fierce, slid over the iron bars, his thumb brushing my cheek. His breath was hot against my ear, scented with pine and the metallic tang of blood, and he whispered, "We're not alone." Guard boots thundered toward us, rain hammering the stone, their boots splashing mud onto the cold floor. I felt Kale's pulse against my skin, a steady rhythm that matched the pounding of my own heart. My skin tingled at his touch, a mixture of fear and longing that set my nerves alight. "Come with me," he said, his voice low and urgent. "The tunnels lead to the old catacombs. There's a hidden passage that the ascendants think is sealed forever." I hesitated only a heartbeat before the cold iron bit deeper, and I slipped my wrist free, the metal snapping with a scream that echoed through the chamber. Together we lunged into the darkness, the rain pounding the stone above us as the distant clang of the guards grew fainter. The tunnel walls were slick with moss, the air thick with the scent of earth and pine, and every step felt like a promise of danger and desire. As we disappeared into the shadows, I caught Kale's hand, his grip firm yet tender, and whispered, "If we make it out, what will become of us?" He smiled, a flash of defiant heat in the gloom, and replied, "Whatever the world throws at us, we'll face it together, because this night has already bound us." The tunnel twisted and turned, the darkness pressing in around us like a living thing. My heart raced as I stumbled over uneven stones, Kale's hand guiding me through the labyrinth. The air grew colder, the scent of damp earth giving way to something else, something ancient and forgotten. "How much farther?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Kale's fingers tightened around mine. "Not far now, just stay close." We emerged into a vast chamber, the ceiling lost in shadow above us. Ancient carvings covered the walls, depicting scenes of a world long gone, a world before the ascendants, before the iron grip of fear. In the center of the chamber stood a massive stone door, its surface etched with symbols that seemed to writhe in the torchlight. "The entrance to the catacombs," Kale said, his voice reverent. He pressed his palm against the door, and with a groan of ancient stone, it swung open. Beyond lay a narrow passage, the air thick with the scent of decay and something else, something that made my skin prickle with unease. "What is this place?" I asked, my voice trembling. Kale's eyes met mine, and in them I saw a flicker of something I couldn't quite name. "A place of secrets," he said softly. "A place where the past and present collide." We stepped into the passage, the door closing behind us with a final, echoing thud. The darkness pressed in around us, and I felt a shiver run down my spine. But Kale's hand was warm in mine, and I knew that no matter what lay ahead, we would face it together. The passage wound deeper into the earth, the air growing colder with each step. My breath misted in front of me, and I pulled my shawl tighter around my shoulders. Kale's footsteps were steady beside me, a reassuring presence in the darkness. "Tell me about yourself," I said, my voice breaking the silence. Kale was quiet for a moment, and I wondered if he would answer, but then he spoke, his voice low and thoughtful. "I was born in the shadow of the Ascendant Towers," he said. "My father was a guard, my mother a seamstress. They taught me to fear the Ascendants, but also to respect them. It wasn't until I saw what they were capable of that I realized the truth." He paused, and I could feel the weight of his words. "I couldn't stand by and watch them destroy lives, so I left and I joined the rebellion." I squeezed his hand, a silent gesture of understanding. "And now?" I asked. Kale's grip tightened. "Now I fight for a future where people like you can give charity without fear of punishment, where kindness isn't a crime." We walked in silence for a while, the only sound the echo of our footsteps. The passage began to slope upward, and I could feel a faint breeze on my face. "Almost there," Kale said, his voice filled with hope. The passage opened into a small chamber, and I could see a faint light filtering through a crack in the wall. Kale moved to the crack and pushed, and with a groan of ancient stone, a hidden door swung open. Beyond lay a moonlit forest, the trees swaying gently in the night breeze. I stepped out into the cool night air, my heart swelling with a mixture of relief and wonder. Kale followed, closing the door behind us. "We made it," he said, his voice filled with awe. I turned to him, my eyes meeting his in the moonlight. "What now?" I asked. Kale's hand found mine, his fingers intertwining with mine. "Now we start a new life," he said softly, "a life where we can be free." And as we stood there in the moonlight, the forest around us alive with the sounds of the night, I knew that whatever the future held, I would face it with Kale by my side. Because in this world of iron and obedience, we had found something far more precious, something worth fighting for.